Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, welcome back to today's Daf Yomi, which is Rosh HaShanna Lamed Aleph. We begin right on top of the Amid. Tanya Rabbi Yehuda Omer Mishum Rabbi Akiva. The Gemara will now present for us a full list of Pirkei Tehillim, which were said by the Leviim as their Shira in the Beis HaMikdash during the Korban Tamid Shel Shachar. Now, what they said on any given day of the week corresponded to that specific day in relation to the Sheshis Mebereshis. So on the first day, what would they say? Barishin Meho Yoimrim. This was Perak Chavdalet in Tehillim. Lashem Ha'aretz Maloya. Everything in the world belongs to Hashem. And this relates back to the first day of Brias Ha'olam. Al Shem on account of Shekana. That's when Hashem acquired the world. V'hikna. And He gave it to us, so to speak, to enjoy. V'shalit ba'olamai. At that point, before the Malachim were created, Hashem was, so to speak, the sole ruler, sole authority in the world. Basheni. Meho yoimrim. What about on Monday? Gadol Hashem umuhulul ma'od. How does that relate to Monday? Al Shem shechilik ma'asav u'malach alein. On Monday, Hashem split the world, the heavenly abode, the earthly abode. He divided with the Rakia between the Elyonim and the Tachtonim. Hashem, so to speak, elevated Himself, went up, u'malach aleim, and established His kingdom up in Shammai. So this relates to what happened on the second day of Brias Ha'olam. Bashlishi, what would they say? Hayoimrim Elikim Nitzav Badas Kel. Hashem establishes Himself amongst Klal Yisrael, Badas Kel, His nation. How does that relate to Tuesday? Al Shem Shagila Eretz B'Chachmaseh. Hashem revealed, uncovered the dry land with His wisdom. V'heichen Tevel Adasai, prepared the world for His nation. But what about on Wednesday? El Nekamas Hashem. Hashem is a Kel of Nekama. Why? How does that relate to Wednesday? Al Shem Shebaro Chamo Levana, on account of Him having created sun and moon on that day, which is worshipped by Goyim. V'asad li para miyivdein. Hashem eventually will seek retribution, punish those who worship these heavenly bodies. Kel Nekamas Hashem. On Thursday, B'chamishi hayoimrim harninu lelekimu zeinu. Sing to Hashem our strength. How does that relate to Thursday? Al Shem shebara oifais v'dogim l'shabeach l'shmai. Hashem created a myriad of birds, fish, intricate, complex, beautiful, rich and varied. When you take a look at these things, you're filled with praise and song to Hashem. Says Rashi off to the right. Shebara oifais v'dogim l'shabeach l'shmai. K'sh'adam roya oifais mishunim zemizeh. You see the rich variety out there. Birds, fish, all types and stripes. The art, the creativity, the colors. Dazzling. Noisen shvach. Lisha misha barim. You turn with praise and thanks and sing and joy, song and joy to Hashem, who created these things. Continues the Gemara. What about on Friday? Bashishi hayoimrim Hashem malach geyus lavish. How does it relate to Friday? Al Shem Shegara Malachtei. Hashem completed His world on Friday. U'malach alein, and established His malchus. Bashvi'i hayoimrim. What about Shabbos morning? Miz Moshe liyom HaShabbos. What is liyom HaShabbos? Liyom shekuli Shabbos. What does this mean? It says Rashi off to the right. Liyom shekuli Shabbos. It's referring to something spiritual in the future. She'asa da'olam liyos charev. After 6,000 years, the world is going to be desolate. No more physicality. Ve'ein adam v'chol ha'malachos shevseis al oisa yom oimrim shir shel Shabbos. So the song on Shabbos related to something in the future. The 7,000 by Hashem, one day is 1,000 years. So it's relating to that seventh day, the 7,000th of creation, which is called Yom Shekuli Shabbos, a day, 1,000 years, fully, completely spiritual. Amar Nechemya, I don't understand. And according to the Bach, Ugaris, V'chima Ro'o Rabbi Akiva L'chalek Ben HaProkim Alolo. We just heard a full list presented by Rabbi Akiva. Why did he differentiate between the Prokim, the sections of Shira, meaning first 6 days, the Shira related back to Sheshis and Bereshis, something of the past. The Shira of Shabbos is on account of the future. Why aren't they consistent? Past and then future. No, Ella, rather, according to me, it's all going to relate to the past. So the first 6 days I agree, but I'm going to disagree regarding the significance of the Shir Shel Shabbos. According to Rabbi Akiva, related to the future. According to myself, it's going to relate to the past, just as the other days. Ella, rather, Barishain, we say Lashem Artzim Eloya. He's going to go through it quickly. Shekana v'ikne v'shalat b'ilama, Hashem acquired the world. B'asheni shechilik masav, malach aleim, he split the masim and was Melech on the upper ones. B'ashlishi shegila b'eretz b'chachmasai, v'eichen tevel adasai, he uncovered the dry land. B'revi shebarach cham u'levana, v'aset liparam evdeim, Hashem created all the heavenly bodies. B'chamishi shebarach oifis v'dagam l'shabeach l'shmai. B'shishi finished everything. Shegomer malachtoi u'malach aleim. And here comes the point of disagreement. B'shvi, we say, Mizmor Shel Yom HaShabbos. You know why? Al Shem Shel Shabbos. It describes what happened on Shabbos. The first Shabbos, Hashem rested after creation. But it doesn't relate to the future, as Rabbi Akiva maintained. Now, what's the point of Machlekes here? V'ka miflagi b'd Rav Katina. Their Machlekes revolves around Rav Katina's statement. The Amar Rav Katina, Shita Alfi Shni Hava Amma. This world, as we know it, extends 6,000 years. V'chad, and followed by 1,000 years Chorev, of desolation. Shenamar v'niskav Hashem levada yibeimahu. On that day, thousands, number 7, Hashem will be Himself. By Yoimahu, that day, a day is 1,000. The Ben Yehuda explains, it's going to be a transition point between Olam Hazeh, which is Gashmi, and Olam Haba Tchias HaMesim, which is completely spiritual. We need that parv mode to get us from one to the other. So the Niskav Hashem Levada B'Yemhu represents that transition between Olam Hazeh and Olam Haba. So it's 1,000 years. And that's why Rabbi Akiva interpreted the pasuk Mizmor Shel Yom HaShabbos as referring to that Yom, which is only 1,000 years. A Yom is 1,000. It makes sense. That's why he followed that approach. But Abaye holds, Amar Abaye, no, Trei Charav. This will go on for 2,000 years. Shenamar Yechayenu Miyoymayim. After 2 days, Hashem will bring us back alive. After 2,000 years. This was Rav Nechemya's approach. It's a 2-day experience, a 2,000-year experience, and therefore he learned Mizmor Shel Yom HaShabbos, which is referring to 1 day of Shvisa, can't be referring to that future phenomenon. Rather, it's referring to the past, the Shabbos at the beginning of creation. Continues the Gemara. We know that on Shabbos they would sing a special shira. What was it? B'musafi de Shabbata mahu yoimrim. What about Shabbos Musaf? Which shir did the Levim sing? Amarav Anabarav. Amarav Haziv L'cha. They said take apart Parshas Ha'azinu, which is the shira found in the Torah, split into 6 sections. Haziv L'cha. Rashi goes through it. The Hey represents Ha'azinu. The Zayin is Zuchar Yimais Olam. The Yud is Yar Kiveu, etc. You split the Hazinu into 6 parts. And that was the Shira of Shabbos. V'amarav Chan Barav Amarav Kederach Shechalukim Kan, the same split that we make regarding the Shira, Kach Chalukim Beis HaKnesses. Likewise, in Shul, when they do Kriyas Torah on Parshas Hazinu, they split it into 6 sections in this manner. B'minchas de Shabbata mehayu oimrim. What would they say as Shira on Shabbos afternoon by Tomed Sheben Arbaim? Om Rabbi Yechanan, there's another Shira. First Az Yashir Moshe until Micha Moicha. The next section was Micha Moicha until the end. And then next was V'az Yashir, that was the Shira that we find in Bamidbar by the Nachle Arnon, as an expression of thanks to Hashem for that nace that they experienced when the Goyim were hiding in the mountains and they crushed, they were saved. The Maharsha points out something interesting. We see a difference between the Shira of Shabbos, which was derived from words of Torah, Hazinu, right, as Yashir, because Shabbos is a day of greater Kedusha, and the sentiment of Shabbos is expressed through the Shira found in Torah, as opposed to the weekday Shira, although Shira, but not on the same level. And those were taken from Tehillim. In fact, he says, the acronym Haziv L'cha brings out this point. Shabbos is a time of Ziv, of aura, of shine, a higher level of Shira. Continues the Gemara. We have one question here. Iboilu, the Bnei Yeshiva asked, Hani kulu b'chad Shabbat amrilu? We spoke about the Shira of Shabbos coming from Ha'azinu. Haziv L'cha, 6 sections, all at once. Just they would stop in between, take some breaks, switch the instruments, some intermission, but really it was from beginning to end on the same Shabbos. And likewise, when we speak about Mincha, it was Az Yashir, Micha Moicha, and Az Yashir all at once, with some breaks. Or shall we say, no, it was one section per Shabbos. Kol Shabbat v'Shabbat, Amrichad, every Shabbos they recited another section. So basically, it would take them 6 weeks to go through Ha'azinu, and 3 weeks to go through the 3 prakim, Az Yashir, Micha Moicha, and Az Yashir, by Mincha. Tashma, listen to this raya, that it was one section per Shabbos. The Sanya Omer Rabbi Yossi, Acha Rishona Imeres Achas, Shnia Chazer Shtayim. At the same time that it took for them to complete the first cycle, the whole first cycle, Haziv L'cha, the entire Hazinu, they would do the second cycle twice. Meaning, it took them 6 weeks to go through Hazinu with the 6 sections. By that time, they went through the other Shira of Mincha, which only had 3 sections, went through it twice. Oh, Shema Mino, this is a clear raya that was one section per Shabbos. Otherwise, this wouldn't work. Kol Shabbat v'Shabbat Amrichad Shema Mino. Indeed, it's a raya that every Shabbos one section was said. Amar Bidamar Bar Idio Bar Rechna Eser Mas Sois Nosa Shchina. We're going to see from Psukim, Mikroi, from Psukim, we're going to learn that the Shchina slowly but surely left Beis Hamikdash, left Klal Yisrael to a certain extent, and went back up to Shemayim. At the end of Bayis Rishon. But, as Rashi says, it was slow. It was a slow and painful process. Hashem was waiting. Perhaps I can stay. No, he left a little further. He journeyed 10 journeys, 10 stops, till Hashem took a Shechina up to Shemayim. It was done with difficulty. Ukenegdon, and correspondingly we find that Golso Sanhedrin, that during Bayis Sheni, the High Court, the Sanhedrin, also traveled 10 journeys out of the Beis Hamikdash. And that is Migimara. That is by tradition. We don't see that in Psukim. We makabel Kabbalah that it was so. Explains the Gemara. Eser Masois Nosa Shechina Mikroi. What do we find in the Psukim? That the Shechina traveled 10 journeys. So what were the 10 stops? Mikapiris, first it was on the Kapiris on the Aron. Likruv, over to the wooden statue, so to speak, that Shlomo HaMelech positioned near the Aron in the Kodesh HaKadosh. The Bach takes out the next 2 words, Mikruv Likruv. Umikruv Lemiftan, from there to the threshold, to the Miftan, at the doorway of the Kodesh HaKadoshim, or perhaps the Heichel. Umimiftan Lechatzer, and from there to the courtyard, meaning outside the Heichel, between the Heichel and the Mizbeach. Umachatz Lemizbeach, over to the Mizbeach, Mizbeach Legag, over to the roof of the Heichel. Umigag Lechayma, to the wall around the Azara. Umachayma Le'ir, from there to the city, to Yerushalayim. Umi'ir Lahar, over to the Har Hazesim. Umahar Lamidbar. Midbar, that was the final destination. Also, V'yashvim Kaima went back, receded back to its former abode in Shammai. And we find the Psukim describing these stops. Shenemar, Eilech ve'ashuv el Mekayim. Hashem says, I'm going to go back home. So how do you know that indeed the Shekhinah took these particular steps? Mikaperes lekruv, mikruv lekruv, mikruv lemiftan dichsev. V'ni'adti l'chasham v'dibarati t'chem el kaperes. Hashem says to Moshe, I'm going to meet you on top of the kaperes. Apparently that was the permanent abode of the Shekhinah in the Kodesh HaKadosh. And what do we find in the Psukim? Uksiv vayirkav al kruv hayoif. Uksiv v'kvoid el kei Yisrael nale mal kruv. Hashem left the kruv. Apparently he went from the kaperes to the kruv. Ashahoy olav el miftan abayis, over to the threshold, the doorway to the Beis Hamikdash. Miftan l'chatzer, from there to the chatzer, the chsiv vayimol habayis is on the chatzer. Mulei yas noigeh kvoid Hashem. So the chatzer was filled with the Shekhinah. From there to the mizbeach, mechatzer l'mizbeach. Chsiv risis Hashem nisav al mizbeach. He was up on the mizbeach. Mizbeach to the gag. The gag, the chsiv toiv l'sheves al pinas gag. Gag over l'chayma. The chsiv v'ini Hashem nitzav al chayma sanoch. Chayma le'ir to Yerushalayim. The chsiv kol Hashem le'ir yikra. From there to the mountain, me'ir lahar. The chsiv vayal kvod Hashem me'al toicha ir vayamid al har Hashem rikedem le'ir. Over to the mountain to the east of the city. And finally, umehar to the midbar, mehal midbar chsiv toiv sheves ba'aretz midbar. Midbar also from there was back up to Shemayim. Midbar also v'yashem m'kayim chsiv eilach hashuv el m'kayim. Amar Rabbi Yechanan, he meant to know that even once the Shekhinah got to the midbar, Hashem took his time. Amar Rabbi Yechanan shisha chadash, no less than 6 months. This akva Shekhinah l'Yisrael b'midbar. The Shekhinah waited around the midbar. Shem v'yachzor b'tshuva, perhaps Klal Yisrael will turn things around. Once Hashem saw it wasn't happening, Amar Tipach, and according to the Bach, Nafshon Shanemar, their nefesh should fly out. It was a very disappointing expression. Shanemar ve'eni risham tichlana, u'manais avad minham. Their manas, strength, was lost from them. Tikvasa mapach nefesh, and awaiting and looking forward to them for them to turn around. Mapach nefesh is just an exasperation. A lost cause, and Lashon Mapach Nefesh corresponds to what we said before, Tifach Nashon. This was like a sort of a einish. Their nefesh should expire. So we find that the Shekhinah took its time leaving, slowly but surely, until it went back up to Shammai. Ukenegdan. Opposite that, we have 10 journeys that the Sanhedrin took as well. Golso Sanhedrin, and Rashi says this took place at the end of Vayisheni. Ukenegdan Golso Sanhedrin, we learned this Gemara by tradition. First, it was in Lishkas Hagazes, a special room where they held court in the Beis Hamikdash. From there, Melishkas Hagazes, Lechanus, this was some sort of room, some sort of chamber on the Har HaBayis. From there, they went to Yerushalayim, Mechanus Yerushalayim, Yerushalayim to the city of Yavne, LeYavne, Yavne LeUsha to the next city, Usha LeYavne to the next city, Yavne LeUsha, back to Usha, Usha LeShafram, Shafram LeBeis Sharim, Beis Sharim LeTzipori, Mitzipori LeTveria, and that was the last stop. Utveria Amukim Mikulan. And topographically, actually, it's the lowest lying area of all the areas. And Rashi actually adds that Amuka means also as far as their authority and standing. They were Shvelim Hoyu, Oz Mikolam Asoy Shagalu. They were at the lowest point in Tveria. Shedemar B'Shafalt Me'eretz Tidaberi. So that's the lowest point, the Shvela point. Rabbi Lezer Omer, actually it was only 6. Sheish Golias, they went through 6 stages. Shnemar Ki Heishach, that's going down 1. Yeshvi Marim Kirin Iskava, Yashpilena, lowered again, Yashpilena 3rd time, Ad Eretz 4th, Yagiena reaches Ad Afar 6. Rabbi Yechanan, Umisham Asidin Legoyel, the Gula of the Sanhedrin will initiate from that very point from Tveria. Shnemar, this is the second part of the pasuk that we mentioned, B'Shafalt Me'eretz Daberi. The pasuk continues, Hisnari Me'aretz, Hisnari Me'afar Kumi. Actually, sorry, it's not the second part of that pasuk, but it is a pasuk describing the Geula. Hisnari Me'afar Kumi Shvi, shake yourself off from the Afar and come back. And this is a fitting tikkun on that pasuk of Shafalt Me'eretz Daberi, which continues by saying Ume'afar Tishach. So they're going to be downtrodden down to the Afar, and now Hisnari Me'afar, shake yourself off, come back to your original Makam, your former abode, Kumi, Shavi, set up your Sanhedrin once again, B'Geula Asidim Her V'Yameinu. Continues the Mishnah. Amar Rabbi Yehuda ben Karcha. We mentioned several takonos enacted by Rabbi Yehuda ben Zakkai. We have 6 in this parak, 1 in the previous parak. We have 1 more. V'oid zois hiskin Rabbi Yehuda ben Zakkai. There's another takana by Rabbi Yehuda ben Zakkai. Shafilu roish beis din b'chol mokim. Let's say the head of the court happens not to be in the same location as his bezdin. So where are the Eidim going to come? They come to testify about the sighting of the new moon. But they have to go look for the Rosh HaBezdin because really, he should be involved in the process. Says Rabbi Yehuda, no, let's make it easy for them. All they need to do, go to the set mokim of the Bezdin, testify, and that's it. Let's go over to Rashi, around 3-4 lines up. Let's listen. Omer Mishob ben Karcha. Shafilu Rosh Bezdin b'chol mokim. Shenitzrach lifrosh mokim avad mokim achar. Let's say he had to do some business elsewhere, so he's not around with the Bezdin. And really, varei ikar. The Bach adds ikar mitzvahs kiddush hachayish tluya boy. Ideally, the Rosh HaBezdin should be around. He should be present to add formality to the procedure. Because it's not mepirkin delel. Rosh Bezdin omer mekudesh. We learn from Psukim. The Rosh Bezdin is the one that's meant to confirm the Kiddush HaChodesh and issue that formal declaration. But over here we made a takana. Lo yiu tzrichem eidei HaChodesh la'alach achrab. They don't have to look for him, follow him. Elu l'mokem avad. They go to the mokem of Bezdin shal yeshiva yelchu v'sanhedrin yikatshu b'loi Rosh Bezdin. So we leave him out of the equation this time. Continues the Gemara. On the topic of the Rosh HaBezdin leaving town, there was a story with Ayi Itza, this certain woman, that was menua ladino kamei damemer bin hardoi. Somebody called her into a din Torah in front of Amemer. Amemer was the Rosh of the Bezdin in the town of Nadoi. So he invited her to a din Torah. It so happens that Amemer, the head of the Bezdin, was out of town. He was in Mechayza. And this woman refused to travel to Mechayza to go to the Dayan Amemer. She didn't want to go to him. If he's here, fine. I'm not going to travel out of town to Mechayza. So what did Amemer do? Kosav, he wrote Psicha, a refusal document, basically saying that she's a Mesareves, she's not cooperating with the Din Torah. Kosav Psicha ilova on this woman. Ask Rav Ashi, why are you holding her accountable? She has to follow you? We have a Mishnah. Even if the Bezdin is found elsewhere, there's a special takana. They don't have to follow him. She's not obligated to follow you to Mechayza. If you're in town, fine. You can't hold it against her. Amema responds, yeah, Hanamili, leaning Eidos HaChodesh. Sure, when it comes to Eidos HaChodesh, we don't want to make it difficult. Because otherwise, it's going to make it difficult, and it's going to dissuade them from being involved in the Kiddush Chodesh process to have to go run after the Bezdin. So we say, you know what, come to the Bezdin, that's it. But in this case, where the Isha is being called to Din Torah, she owes money or whatever, a borrower is considered a servant to his lender. He has obligations. He has responsibilities to cooperate when he's asked to come join the Din Torah. This fellow has a claim against him, and he's committed to follow through whatever needs to be done to resolve the claim. He's meshubah to his malva. He has to follow. I may to mechayza if needed. Continues the Gemara. Tan Rabbanon, ein hakayhanim rashoin lalois b'sandalein l'duchan. A kohen who is approaching the duchan, the stage upon which they say brichas kayhanim, has to make sure he leaves his sandals behind. V'zu echad mitesha takonis shehiskin Rabbi Yehuda ben Zakkai. This is one of 9 takanos enacted by Rabbi Yochanan Zakkai. And the Gemara in I believe it's Saita explains the reason is because we're afraid that he might notice there's something wrong with his sandal and bend down to fix it, get involved, and fail to arrive at the duchen. People noticing him missing will say, well, maybe he's not qualified to duchen, he's a apostle. So it's going to generate these rumors. Want to avoid that? Leave your sandals behind. So this is one of 9 takanos. We have a total of 9. How do we get 9? Shis dahai pirka. In this parak we have a total of 6. 1 now Mishnah, 5 mentioned earlier, regarding Tkiyah Shofar, shaking the lulav in the Migdash, etc. V'chad the pirka kama. 1 mentioned in the previous parak, that after the Churban Abayis, the Edom on the way to Bezdin, testifying regarding the Kiddush HaChodesh, could only be Mechal Shabbos if it's Nisan or Tishrei. So it's a total of 7. V'idach, number 8 is the Sanya. Gershon is Gai Bizman Hazeh. If one converts nowadays, you have to do Mila, Tvila, and bring a carbon. How do you bring a carbon? So Rosh HaShanna, Roiva L'Kineg. He has to set aside a Roiva, a quarter of a shekel, which is enough to buy a kan, a pair of birds. He sets it aside until the Migdash is rebuilt. Amar, Reb Shimon Elazar, Kfar Nimna Leo Rabbi Yochanan Zakkai U Bitla Bnei Takala. Rabbi Yochanan didn't like this. He took account. He decided, we're going to make a takana, no more setting aside money, because it's kaddish. He might have enough from it. Better leave it alone. When the Migdash comes back, he'll take care of it then. So that's number 8. V'idach, regarding number 9, it's actually subject to a machlekes. Pluk to the Rav Papa. It's a machlekes between Rav Papa and Rav Nachman Yitzchak regarding the identity of that 9th takana. Rav Papa Amar Kerem Ravai. It's concerning the 4th year growth in the vine, in the vineyard. Rav Nachman Yitzchak Amar Lashon Shel Zahiris. It was regarding this red ribbon used on Yom Kippur. Explains the Gemara. Rav Papa Amar Kerem Ravai. The takana pertain to Kerem Ravai, the Sanya, or the Snan. Kerem Ravai, which is something that grows in your vineyard, or perhaps according to other shittas, all fruit trees, on the 4th year since planting. 3 years of Erla behind you, it's the 4th year, that fruit has a certain Kedusha. Either you eat it in Yerushalayim, or you paida, you redeem it outside Yerushalayim, and take the money up to Yerushalayim eventually. There was a special takana, in order to beautify the marketplace of Yerushalayim. Everybody should bring their fruit up. If you live within a radius of 1 day travel to Yerushalayim, bring it up to be ma'ater shuke Yerushalayim beperis. Instead of redeeming it where you are, bring up the money, bring up the fruit itself. Kerem Ravai, haya'ilel Yerushalayim would be brought up to Yerushalayim mahalach yom l'chol tzad. If you're within a day travel to either side of Yerushalayim, within a day radius. V'zohi tchuma, in accordance with the following boundaries: Elas min Adarim, if you're within Elas to the south, Va'akavas min Tzafon, Lud min Amarav, V'yard min Mizrach. These towns were considered the boundaries which constitute this 1 day radius outside Yerushalayim. V'amar Ula, V'tema Rabba Barula, Amar B'yechon, Ma'atam, what's the reason for this takana? Why bring the fruit itself? To beautify Yerushalayim, Kedila Ater, Shuk Yerushalayim Perois, to fill and beautify the streets of Yerushalayim, the marketplaces, with pears. V'tanya, listen to this price. Kerem Ravai, Hoyloi Rabbi Lezer b'Mizrach Lud. Rabbi Lezer happened to have these 4th year fruits, and he was situated within a day travel to Yerushalayim. He was on the Mizrach of Lud, which is between Lud and Yerushalayim. Lud is the outermost boundary of this radius, of this Kvul. He was within that boundary, B'tzad Kfar Tabi, near this town, and he figured, after bringing it to Yerushalayim, it was a bit difficult for him to do it. So he decided, instead of bringing it to Yerushalayim, I'm going to make it hefker. Ubikish Rabbi Lezer, Afkir L'Aniyim, he wanted to give it to the Aniyim, let them take care of it. He was under the notion that there's a chiyuv, even after the Churban, to bring up the fruit. Amr le Talmidav, his students turned to him, Rabbi, why bother? The takana is no longer in existence. Kar nimnu chaverecha alav vitiru. Your colleagues have already taken taken count, come to consensus that this takana no longer exists, they were matir. The reason was, time of Churban, Goyim are roaming around Yerushalayim, there's no point in beautifying. Now, Man Chaverecha, they said, your friends were matir. Who is this? Rabbi Yehuda ben Zakkai, who was Rabbi Lezer's colleague. So this, according to Rav Papa, was takana number 9 of Rabbi Yehuda ben Zakkai. After the Churban, there's no longer a need to travel to Yerushalayim with those fruit. That's one opinion. Rav Nachman Yitzchak Amar, Lashon Shel Zahiris. The last takana of Rabbi Yehuda related to the Lashon Shel Zahiris. It's Nanya. Berishayna Yikoishrin Lashon Shel Zahiris al Pesach Ulam B'chutz on Yom Kippur. Initially, they would take the red ribbon, tie it along the outside of the entranceway to the Ulam. Hilbin, they noticed it turning white on Yom Kippur as a sign of Kapara. It would generate joy in their hearts. Hilbin, however, if it did not turn white, it would generate sadness. Chacham did not want that to happen. They changed its location. Hiskinu. From then on, they decided Shiu Koishin Oisai a Pesach Ulam Bifnim. So they hung it at the Pesach of the Ulam, but instead of outside, it was visible on the inside. So it wouldn't be seen. Well, guess what? Some people were curious and they would still take a peek inside and they would notice the same thing. If it turned white, it would generate simcha. Otherwise, it would generate atzvah. So what did they do? They decided no longer up for public display. They would tie it out in the midbar. They would send it with the fellow with the sar mishtaleach, who would bring it to the tzuk, to the azazel, split the thing in half. Half he would tie on the rock, the chetzi ben karnav, half between its horns, and send it down the mountain. Ben karnav shel sar mishtaleach. And this was the takana established by Rabbi Yehuda ben Zakkai. Now, why this machlokes? Rav Nachman Yitzchak, my time alone, Rav Papa. Why did Rav Nachman, who spoke about the red ribbon, not follow Rav Papa? That the takana pertained to the fruit of Yerushalayim. Amalach, he tells you like this. Rabbi Yehuda ben Zakkai, if that takana was established by Rabbi Yechanan, Chaver of the Rabbi Lezer Mihava. Remember, the Talmidim turned to Rabbi Lezer and says, your friends allowed it. Rabbi Yehuda ben Zakkai is not Rabbi Lezer's friend. Rabbi Hava, he was his Rebbe. They should have said, your Rebbe was matir. Apparently, it's unrelated to Rabbi Yehuda ben Zakkai. Rather, takana number 9 pertains to the Lashon Shel Zahiris and Yom Kippur. Vidach. What does Rav Papa do with this diuk? Why did they refer to him as Chaverov? The truth is, he was his Rebbe. But who was speaking? Even the Talmidim, Havu, they were his students, speaking to Rabbi Lezer, the Rebbe. It's inappropriate, lememrele, to tell him, l'Rabbi, to tell their Rebbe, Rabbach. Your Rebbe was matir. So although technically he was, Rabbi Yechon was Rabbi Lezer's Rebbe, but when you're speaking to your Rebbe, it's more covered to refrain from referring to somebody else as, well, your Rebbe said so. Instead, they use the term chaverim, colleagues. For Rav Papa, my time alone, Rav Nachman Yitzchak. Why didn't Rav Papa like Rav Nachman's suggestion? Amalach, he says like this: Isa gadaitach Rabbi Yehuda ben Zakkai. How could you say that the takana regarding the thread had something to do with Rabbi Yechanan? It wasn't the right point of history. B'mei Rabbi Yehuda ben Zakkai mihava loshen shel zahiris malbin. The Brisa says they were facing a dilemma. Sometimes it turned white, sometimes not. They decided, okay, we're sending it out to the midbar. During Rabbi Yechanan's tenure, the lashon never turned white. It was too late in history. Vatanya, the Brisa says, Kol Shnoisav Shel Rabbi Yehuda ben Zakkai. Rabbi Yechanan lived for how long? May of Esrim Shana, 120 years. Mem Shana Asak Parkimatya. First 40 years of his life, he was engaged in business. Mem Shana, the following 40 years, Lamad, he learned himself. Mem Shana, the following 40 years, the final 40 years of his life, Limed, he taught others. We assume, if he made any takanas, it was presumably during that last segment of his life, the last 40-year segment. V'tanya, we learned further, Mem Shana Kodim Shenechra Abayis, the last 40 years before the Churban, Lo Yohaya Lashon Shel Zahiris Malm, they no longer experienced that ness where the Lashon would turn white. Elamadin would stay red. Okay. Knowing that, we need to know one more thing. V'tanan, Mishachar Abayis, Hiskin, Rabbi Yehuda Kessler. We find that he made many takanas after the Churban. So apparently his tenure, that last segment of his life where he was involved in influencing others, the 40 years of Limed, extended past the Churban. Okay, it's pretty clear. And they began somewhere before the Churban, within 40 years of the Churban, because it only extended 40 years. Right? Well, last 40 years before the Churban, he didn't have any whitening of threads. So it can't be. How could you say that during his time, the thread was whitening? Apparently, it's unrelated to Rabbi Yehuda. It says Rashi, 2 lines from the bottom. Utanan mishachar beis hamikdash hiskin takonis alma la'achar churban haya shana or at least a year or two after the churban v'chiban arba mishana kodim churban lo yihul ben halosh yom kippurim. Once we know that last 40 before the churban there was no whitening at all. Nimtza shelo yihul ben b'sech shnois v'achroinim. Apparently, all throughout his last 40 years, he didn't have this phenomena of whitening. Shalimid b'machirim v'tikin takonis. All throughout the time where he influenced others and established takonis, he wasn't faced with this concept of a whitening thread in Yom Kippur. V'idach. So what does the other Shita say? How does he work this out? He says, you know what? This whole episode took place in the middle stage of his life, the middle 40. V'idach. Oisem arba mishana de lamad. Those 40 years, in which case he was only a Talmud. De lamad. Talmud Yoshev l'fnei Rabba Hava. What happened was he was a Talmud sitting in front of his Rebbe. He suggested something. Let's stop hanging up the thread. Let's send it out to the Midbar. And it made sense. The Kaveh, Rabbi Bishmei, his Rebbe adopted it and established it alongside his other takanas, meaning he was credited with the takana. So although he wasn't yet at the point of Melamed, he was still at the point of Lamad, mid 40 years, which certainly could have happened well before the Churban Abayis, when they still had this whitening of the thread phenomena. That's when his suggestion surfaced, and that takana was adopted and added to his list for a total of 9. Okay, so briefly we discussed the Shira, the Levium, throughout the week, throughout the Shabbos, the 10 Masois that the Shechina journeyed out of Yerushalayim, out of Beis Hamikdash, up to Shemayim. The 10 Goliaths, the Sanhedrin experienced, coming out of the Beis Hamikdash. We had Takanas Rabbi Yehuda and Zakkai. You don't need to follow the Av Bezdin by Kiddush HaChodesh. And the Gemara gave us a full list of all 9 Takanas of Rabbi Yehuda and Zakkai. All the best to you and much Hatzlacha.